We are live.
Hello, everybody. Let's see, we gotta tote you down. It's Sienna May. Say hi, Pip here. Here, she's looking down at you.
Yeah.
Put you up here so she'll look up.
Hi, Sienna. Hello.
Do you see Sienna right? Or do you see Pip here?
Oh,
Oh, did I just change the
that's
view?
too much Pip here. There she is.
There she is.
Yeah.
Who is that? Sienna's a girl of few words. Yeah? Which one is Allison, they're asking. What do you think? Well, if you're not going to talk, oh, well, that's nice. That's attractive, dear. See, I got to put you up, put it up here. That's where you're supposed to look. There, now you can't. Face on. Few words must be taken after Steve. Yeah, exactly. What? What do you see? Yes. She sounds like Boo. Yeah? You all done? Oh, okay. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Sienna.
Okay, bye-bye. Let's see, I think she's under. Thanks, Lindsay. Oh, wait. Oh, she's still tangled. All right. Does Forbes need to make an appearance, or is that enough children? Okay, maybe at the end. All right. Well, it is past 5. Al is not here. Has anybody called roll call yet? Maybe, am I qualified to call roll call? Yes. Right. Oh, by the way, Sienna is with one N because she is named after the city in Italy where Lindsay went to school. Oh, we do have a special appearance. Come here, Forbes. Come on in. And you can sit on my lap. Let's kind of sit sideways. Like that. There you go. You want the headphones so you can hear Pip here? All right. I'm not going to know what's going on. Say, hi, audience.
Hi, audience. What?
Don't ask me. Okay. Here's what I want you to say, Forbes. Say these names right after me. We're doing roll call. Kevin.
Kevin.
Bruce.
Bruce.
Jason.
Jason.
Frank.
Frank.
Jill.
Jill.
John.
John.
Sandy.
Sandy.
Pipier.
Pipir.
Michael.
Michael.
Zoe brings bacon.
Zoe brings bacon.
And, let's see. There's Jill again. I don't see Rose in here yet, but you should say hi to Rose. Say hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
There you go. When she comes back in, we'll make her go back and play it again. Oh, good. Tesla's here, too. Well, I think that should call it. I think we're going to have to start the show.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay.
Buddy.
All right. All done. Bye. He did good. He did roll call, Linz.
Bye.
Thanks, Linz. All right. Oh, she is? Oh, good. I hope she heard it. Okay. Good. All right. Well, since things are bound to go wrong, we should probably start the show. What do you think? Oh, let's verify playback here. Make sure you can hear the music. What happened to it? Oh, for the love of Pete. Okay, well, I didn't move it. Well, it did get moved back and forth a couple of times, so let me do this. Bring it up. All right, well, yeah, and I can only hear Steve through Discord when I'm supposed to be able to hear him through other channels. Okay, so that's still set correctly. Let me just jiggle it a little bit and see if that brings it there. That popped it back in. There was nothing wrong with it on this side. Okay. I literally just like grabbed the edge and went, so. Yeah. So you've got sound source. You can mute yourself, right? In your menu bar. All right. So, did you hear playback, though? Playback was good? Ooh, I might be a little hot. I'm a little bit hot there. Hang on. Let me bring this down. Actually, let me do it this way. A little more granular control. Okay, so I'm going to be up on this. I'm going to put it about right there. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan. Let me do a test recording. And here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. That actually looks like I'm peaking. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet. Well, that came through pretty good. So you guys okay with my audio, even though I just went down a bunch? Okay, good. Always gets me when Allison talks about how hot she is. Well, you know. All right. Here we go. I hate this angle. It's hard to read, but it's going to work. Here we go. So mute yourself, Steve. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, August 28th, 2022, and this is show number 903. We have a huge show today. I recorded a fun conversation with Jill from the North Woods about how she rearranged her house to create a comfortable and sound-treated podcast recording and editing studio. Then I've got part 4 of my Tiny Mac Tips series, and then we have a quick non-tech product review from Bruce, also known as Use the Data in Slack and in the live chat room. To finish us off, Security Bits is with Bart Bouchatz and the special guest that we have been teasing for weeks. Not 4 weeks, but for weeks. Does that make sense? All right, save.
You've got me interested.
I'll stand for the lady Lindsay. Oh, Lindsay's in the room. There we go.
Lindsay the daughter.
All right. I'm going to do a chapter mark here. I got to remember my keystrokes.
And remember to bring it to the front.
Yeah, and I didn't hear it do anything. Didn't work. Okay,
you have to have it on focus.
Keyboard Maestro's working. Oh no, Sienna does not sound happy. Okay, Keyboard Maestro's running. Go back here. Nope, I'm not hearing anything. Copy link. Copy. Oh, come on. Why is it not working? Is Mike in the house? No, he's absent again. So it's active. Nope, nothing. Well, phooey. Why would things not work in one house? That just doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
I'll try it one more time. Am I doing the right? Oh, you know what? It's because it's an H, not a G. There it is. Copy link. There we go. Keyboard Maestro would like to record this computer screen. Open system preferences. Oh, for the love of Pete. All right, let me authenticate here. Use my watch. Keyboard Maestro. And why is the sound coming out of my Mac speakers? MacBook Pro. Oh, sound effects are out of my Mac speakers. Let's put those to track system output. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Are we ready?
Yes.
So I did all my keystroke and a G instead of an H for Hindenburg. Boom,
there
boom,
we go.
Boom.
That looked good.
All right. Okie dokie. Here we go. But before we get to all that, I want to give a plug for Bodie Grimm's Kilowatt podcast yet again, because this time Steve and I got to be guests on his show this week. Bodie covers electric vehicle news, but also other things like solar panels and batteries. He asked us to come on to explain how we chose to add whole home batteries to our house, the decisions we made and how we made them, and the process we went through to get them installed. It was great fun because, well, anything you do with Bodie is, and I think you might enjoy hearing about how we became independent from grid energy. This is actually part 1 of 2 because Bodie cut the interview into 2 pieces where the second half is all about heat pumps. I should also mention that you'll hear the EV news before the interview in episode 309 of the Kilowatt Podcast. You can find the Kilowatt Podcast in your podcatcher of choice or at the link in the show notes. All right.
That was a fun talk with Bodhi.
Oh, so fun. All I can say is dollar cost averaging.
That's a spoiler alert, I think.
Allison forgot to check the other side. What did I check? Let's see. Do you have to be in the live show listen to be in roll call? Oh, sorry. No, I did check the other side, but I can never tell who's really there. Kurt, I'm so sorry. We will have Forbes come back at the end and say your name for roll call. The problem is, do you want to explain instead?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the problem is everyone who has ever been here lives in the sidebar if they're in Discord. So whether they're here or not. So like Tom Merritt, Bill Bleepnick, Bruce is over there.
And to add more confusion, you can tell what their status is, whether they're active currently or they're sleeping or logged off. But that activity doesn't mean they're in this chat room. They could be in any part of Discord. So even the green dot doesn't mean they're with us.
Right. So I can see Bruce there, but
like
I can
Barry
also
Folk
see Bruce
is,
in
I don't
the
think,
left sidebar.
Yeah. Barry Folk, I don't think is actually listening here tonight or with us, but he shows green.
Wabbit Magic, who apparently came at one time, came to the show. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Stephen Getz, who I know is not here.
Yeah.
I think he's probably playing around with his Formula One racing friends. So, sorry about that, Kurt.
I don't know why you show us idle, John, but are you coming in through...
You're retired.
That's it. Are you coming in through TitanBot, through Allison's webpage, podfeet.com/live? That might be it. I don't know. By the way, I got a weird message on your webpage about TitanBot getting retired.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, like it's deprecated or not active anymore.
Okay, send me it. Can you not tell me things like that right now when I can't do anything about it?
Yeah, just came to mind.
Yeah, so maybe make a note to tell me about it.
How did you enter the chat, John, is the question.
Okay, can you do this offline? Because I need to work on the show here.
Sure.
I know John thinks he's the center of the universe here, but, let's see. So now I'm going to move into Jill. I think I introduce her here. Jill on her room. And we'll play a little smidge of that. Oh, and especially since there's... put the color photos, the photos that are in the show notes, Steve. Okay, I am going to read some stuff at the end. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's listen to this transition. Or at the link in the show notes. Well, you've been hearing from the awesome Jill McKinley quite a bit lately. She's been doing a lot of audio reviews for the NosillaCast, along with her own fantastic show. Let me make sure I get this right. Small Steps Podcast. Is that right?
Start with small steps.
Dagnabbit.
That's all right.
I worked on it, but the website is smallstepspod.com.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, I got one thing right. All right, I start with Small Steps Podcast. Anyway, so she does recordings for the NosillaCast and for her own show. And she's created kind of a complicated setup to do recordings involving 2 different rooms and 2 different machines. And Windows has left the building, but she's got 2 different Macs. And she's just recently done some improvements to the room that she's working in. And I thought it might be fun to just have her on for a few minutes and chat about where she came from and what she's done and maybe what she's trying to do for the future. I'm sure there is no way that Jill is finished. I already know that.
Right. Not finished. I'm never finished.
Jill is just like an improvement ramp on
It's
everything.
an improvement ramp.
That is who you are.
Yeah, that's right. That is true. This started out when I was having a conversation with you, and you were wondering why I was in 2 separate rooms, one where I record my podcast and the other where I actually do the editing. And I said, well, my upstairs is the best room to record.
So I'm going to cut it off here, but the picture that Steve just posted is the before. That's how she was recording. So she's basically got her whole body stuck in a cave. Oh, she wants me to keep going. And that's what it looks like now. Look at that. Those clouds are sound treatment clouds.
That's pretty cool. I really like that.
Doesn't that look fabulous?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, aren't those cool, Linz? thought that was awesome. Okay, I am going to, yes, the melodic tones of, why does that not always work? There we go. Okay, I am going to jump back in here. Up here. Okay, mute yourself, Steve. Include.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Jill.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Well, after Jill and I recorded this segment, she sent me a little note. Include.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks a lot, Jill.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Well, after Jill and I recorded that segment, she'd sent me a note to let me know that her friend came over and they recorded their very first podcast work together. And she said that her friend could tell the second she walked into the room how great the sound was. They got a bunch of things recorded and she said it sounded great. Now, what's important to note is that her friend has a background in radio, so her endorsement made Jill feel confident that the room is ready for recording. That's a pretty good endorsement of her new design. Now, there is no blog post for this conversation, but I dropped a couple of photos into the blog post for this episode of the NosillaCast into the show notes, showing the before and after photos of her new studio. In the before image, you can see the anechoic chamber cave she had recorded in before, and in the after image, you can see her pretty colored clouds she put up to absorb sound. I cannot imagine how much more enjoyable it is to record with this new setup. All right, he wants a chapter mark.
Yes, I think it's time.
All right. What do you think? H? Copy link. You know, now it's coming to the foreground and working properly.
You're
One
not.
thing is,
It's automatically coming to the foreground, or you're having to.
yeah, when I click on it. So I don't understand.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oops. Back up here. And what did I say I was going to do? Oh, Tiny Mac tips. And we'll go here. Okay, I got a lot of recording to do here. This one's a long one.
All right, let's go.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to put the Tiny Tip music in.
Okay.
That's fair, isn't it?
Sure.
Filled the open file. Tiny Tip walking marimba. I love a Pete. It's not there. But I can find it. This, I think doing. Wait, no, that's not it. I think doing a clean install and doing a migration assistant are not that different. I'm spending more time messing around with my Mac after not having done a clean install than I think I would have. Like right now, what the heck? Oh, the love of Pete.
Was that Hindenburg? What crashed there?
No, that's keep it.
Huh.
Saw the update screen and it crashed. Okay, so now I've sent the report to Steve Harris. All right, and so I want to find my jingles. Where's my jingles? All my jingles. Tiny Tip, Tiny Tip, Tiny Tip. There it is. Okay, could not open Tiny Tip. Oh, this is not good. Okay, so that's a problem. That is a real problem. Well, it's not going to be Tiny Tip. We're not going to do the Tiny Tip music. Moving on. Hey Siri, remind me to find the Tiny Tip music when I get home. Oh, for the love of Pete. Hey Siri, remind me to find the Tiny Tip music tomorrow at 3 p.m. Can you do that? By the way, she transcribed it as Tiny Tim music, so I'll have to figure out what that was.
Close enough. A little tiptoe through the tulips.
Oh, sorry, Jill. Sorry, Sandy. Did any of them set up a reminder properly? All right. Here we go. Okay, mute yourself, Steve. Welcome to part 4 of my Tiny Mac tips. This is an ongoing series I started in order to teach my dear friend, Jill from the North Woods, who you just heard from, how to move from an adequate Mac user to a proficient one. We've had 3 series so far. Jeez, I can't ad lib. We've had Our first tip is about the Mac App Store. Now, Mac App Store updates are a constant presence in our Mac lives because if developers are doing their jobs, they work to improve their apps. They need to keep up with changes Apple makes to Mac OS, and they have to keep ahead of security problems, so these updates just keep coming. Now, while constantly having to run updates is tedious, you really don't want apps that aren't being kept up to date. I love the Mac App Store, and I get a lot of my apps through this convenient mechanism. But have you ever noticed sometimes it gets confused? The other day, I dusted off my 2016 MacBook Pro after several months of disuse. The main purpose was to run the latest macOS security update. When my Mac was up to date, I decided I might as well update the apps. But the Mac App Store said I had 0 updates. Well, you and I both know that's not very probable. I remembered then this little tip. Dave Hamilton has said more than once on the Mac Geek Gab that the Mac App Store is actually a web browser under the hood. That means you can force it to refresh. While I was on the updates page, I tried Command R and I suddenly had 19 updates waiting for me. Now, hopefully you won't need this trick, but just tuck that one back in your little part of your brain that the App Store is just a web browser and it can be refreshed. All right, I know that
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I'm going to do that.
Have you had that problem before?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, here we go. I know system preferences are going away in macOS Ventura to be replaced with the new Settings app to mirror iOS, but many of us will stay with macOS Monterey for a fair bit of time before moving on to the new OS. While we're still on macOS Monterey or before, I've got a tip on how to make system preferences easier to navigate. When I look at the grid of icons and system preferences organized by some bizarre idea of categories that only Apple seems to understand, I can never find what I'm looking for. For example, I know what the Displays icon looks like. I know how Displays is spelled, but I can scan my eyes back and forth 5 times across that grid and never be able to see the icon. I've been using a Mac for 38 years, and I've never gotten comfortable with the layout of system preferences. Well, guess what? It turns out you can actually view system preferences alphabetically, and there are 3 ways to do it. First, if you select the View menu from System Preferences, down drops a list of all the system preferences in alphabetical order right there. Now, I don't know how long it's been in the View menu because it literally never occurred to me that System Preferences even had menus. I never looked at the menu bar until someone showed me this tip. I wish I could remember who showed it to me so I could thank them. Also, in System Preferences, if you look at the top of the toolbar, there's a little 4x3 grid of dots, and that represents the grid of icons on the homepage of System Preferences. If you're inside a preference pane, such as Displays, and you click on that little grid, it takes you back to the home screen of System Preferences. For ages, that's all I've ever done with it. But one day, instead of just clicking on the grid icon, for some reason, I clicked and held on it, and a menu dropped down with all of the System Preference panes in alphabetical order. That means you could jump from Displays to Network without even passing through that home page. Now, if you're as enamored with the alphabetical listing of system preferences as I am, ideally they would be in alphabetical order on that home page. In that View menu I told you about that I never noticed was there before, you have the option to change it from Organize by Category to Organize Alphabetically. As I said, I don't know how long that's been there, but it was life-changing for me when I alphabetized my system preferences. And I kind of use this as a party trick to show other Mac users because for some reason, it's not surfaced easily that this has been there for some length of time. In part 3 of my Tiny Mac Tips series, I taught you how to turn on the window title icons in your Finder windows. Those are sometimes called proxy icons. Pause too long. This is the little folder icon that you can use to drag into Save As dialog boxes to save to an already open folder. Now, in Apple's infinite wisdom, the window title icons are hidden and are only revealed when you hover for a while next to the folder name at the top of the window. Anyway, whether you've left them hidden or always viewable, there's something else fun you can do with them that I didn't tell you about before. Let's say you're buried 5 folders down in your Documents folder and you want to go up a couple of levels. You could use the back arrow several times to get back up. Or you can hold down the Command key and select the window title icon. As soon as you do that, you'll see a drop-down menu showing you the full path of folders back to the root of your drive, sort of upside down. For example, I sync my desktop and Documents folder to iCloud, so the very bottom of the drop-down says iCloud Drive, then above it says Documents, and then it says Podfeed, it says NosillaCast. I'm basically navigating from the bottom up into my folders. So if you use the Command key on the Windows title icon, you can from there... Oh, don't ad lib, don't ad lib, don't ad lib. Into my folders. Okay. Did you guys know that one?
Yep.
Oh, Lindsay says hers is alphabetical and she still can't find anything. Well, there's that problem too. Using the Command key on the Windows title icon is something I do so often that it's just an instinct now, and that's why I forgot to tell you about it before. If remembering the Command key is hard for you, or you don't like your window title icons showing, don't forget the tip from Part 3 where you can view the file path at the bottom of all Finder windows. In that tip, I explained that you can use the icons in the path bar to also navigate up the path. Now, I prefer the Command key on the window title icon method because I bury my stuff so deep in the file structure that the titles of the folders get cut off down in the path bar. When they're in there as a dropdown, the file names are full width to read in all their glory. If you're a keyboard junkie, it can be really frustrating when there's a menu item you use often in an application and there's no keyboard shortcut for it. Luckily, there's a feature in macOS that allows you to add keyboard shortcuts to menus even if the developer didn't include one. Let's take a look at a standard Mac app as an example, TextEdit. Most of the commands have keyboard shortcuts, but View Show Tab Bar does not. This is a bit of a contrived example because you probably don't need to toggle this menu often enough to need a keyboard shortcut, but work with me here. I wanted to pick something that everybody has. To add a keyboard shortcut, open System Preferences, Keyboard, and then select the Shortcuts tab. On the left side of the pane, there's a list of things under Shortcuts, and I want you to choose App Shortcuts. I'll say that again, App Shortcuts. On the right side of the pane, you'll see a list of any shortcuts that may have already been created. Click the plus button below this pane. This will open a small screen where you answer 3 easy questions. The first question is to choose the application in which you want to have the shortcut function. You can actually create a shortcut for all applications or a specific application. From the dropdown that has all of your installed applications, choose TextEdit. Next, you need to enter the exact name of the menu command you want to add. And when they say you have to use the exact name, they mean it. I mean, if it's leading caps, it's got to be leading caps. If it's got dashes in it, it's got to have dashes in it. Make sure the spaces are right. It has to be written exactly as it looks. So in our example, we want to use View and then the dropdown to Show Tab Bar with leading caps. In order to convey to the Shortcuts menu that you want to select from a dropdown, you use a minus followed by the greater than sign, so like dash greater than. Our exact command then for the View Show Tab Bar would be View dash greater than Show Tab Bar, leading caps, and there's no spaces between the words and that dash greater than. Okay, that wasn't too painful. All we have to do is tell it what keyboard shortcut we want to assign. I chose Control-Option-Command-V. Now you want to test it, and that's where you'll realize that you made a typo or you left a space in the command, and you go back and you fix it and you test again. At least that's the process I follow. I forgot and left spaces in between things. Anyway, let me give you a perfect example of where this feature has helped me out. My favorite screenshot tutorial app is Folga from folga.me. It's a really cool app, and it does a great job of helping me create tutorial guides, but it's a pretty non-standard Mac app. Alexi is a rock star of a developer who actually begs for improvement ideas for his app. Seriously, he sent out an email recently to all of his customers entitled Help Folga, and the only message in there said, please answer one simple question. What is the single most important feature you are missing in Folga? I mean, seriously, who does that? Anyway, I digress. One thing was missing for me in Folga was that it doesn't have the standard macOS app keyboard shortcut to open settings. It's supposed to be Command, comma, to open up settings. No problem. I opened up System Preferences, Keyboard Shortcuts, App Shortcuts, and I added the standard keyboard shortcut. Now, one thing you might be wondering is whether it will be annoying to have to remember these keyboard shortcuts or have to dig down into the System Preference pane to refresh your memory of what you chose. Nope, none of that folderol is necessary because macOS puts your fancy new keyboard shortcut right into the menu for the app, just like it was native from the developer. The only tricky bit about adding keyboard shortcuts to apps is when there's a submenu, and that often is called with an ellipsis, or is it ellipses? Anyway, the 3 dots to get to the next screen. Now, it's not hard to do this, but you have to get it exactly right. So rather than belabor it in this article, I put a link in the show notes to the Apple support article that explains in detail for when you do need to do that. Oh, forgot to mute. I miss anything? Oh, Steve, you should, or Lindsay, you should show pictures of the fire we saw this afternoon. They're talking about floods. Or maybe in the 90 messages I missed, you guys did talk about it?
No discussion of the fire.
Ah. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't think I've been that close to a fire before. Have I? It was pretty scary. All right. Back to recording. When I open Apple Maps on my Mac and I zoom in on the city street level, the text is often too small for me to read. I zoom in on the map a little more, and for a brief second the text is larger, and then it's repainted at the same tiny size. My vision isn't that of a 20-year-old, but when I had cataract surgery, I chose 50 centimeters as my focal distance because that's computer distance, so it's really, really good. Another place I'm often frustrated is maybe trying to see some detail in an online image and it's low resolution or the picture's just too small and I want to make something out, but I feel like if it was simply bigger, I'd still be able to see more. Now, you may have just passed 50, or, no. And maybe you've just passed 40 and find that you could use a little help with smaller text on occasion, and you haven't given in to the inevitable glasses that are in your future, but you just don't need to have all of the fonts embiggened or to lower your overall screen resolution just yet. There's a quick trick for these infrequent needs. With this trick, you'll be able to zoom in very quickly on your screen to see something and then zoom right back out to a normal view. Open System Preferences, Accessibility, Zoom. Check the box labeled Use Scroll Gesture with Modifier Keys to zoom. Below that, you'll see a drop-down to choose a modifier key. I use Control, which I think is the default. So if you don't change any of the other settings, now hold down the Control key on your keyboard and use your mouse or trackpad to scroll up. As soon as you do that, you'll see your entire screen zoom in, centered wherever you left your cursor. Now go back to normal. To go back to normal, hold the control. Okay, 2 minutes. Now go back to Now go back to. I heard you. To go back to normal, hold the Control key down again, and this time just scroll back down. So you can scroll in, out, in, out, in, out. It's great. This setting is one of the first things I change on a new Mac installation. It never gets in your way when you don't need it, but it's always at your fingertips when you do see something wee tiny on the screen that you'd really like to see much closer. Now, there are a couple of other options to go with this feature. There's an option below the modifier key dropdown entitled Zoom Style. By default, it's set to full screen, which is the behavior that I just described. You may prefer one of the other options, which are split screen and picture-in-picture. Split screen puts a thin slice of your screen across the top, showing where you're zooming in. I personally think it's a weird representation, but if you like it that way, you go, girl. Picture-in-picture seems a little bit more logical to me. When you use your modifier key and scroll, you'll see a box around your cursor within which the screen zooms in and out. If you move your cursor near the edge of the box, it will start to move with you, so you can move the picture-in-picture precisely to the thing you want to see more clearly. However, because it doesn't move instantly with your cursor, it feels laggy to me, and for that reason I don't favor it, because you have to wait till you get to the edge of the box for it to start to move. But you know what? Perhaps you'll find it less disconcerting than having the entire screen zoom, which is the way I like it. Give these options a play and see which one works for you. The only trick is to remember the modifier key when you need to zoom in to see something more clearly and keep that optometrist at bay for a wee bit longer. Now, speaking of hotkeys, did you know that you can change your Finder view with hotkeys? There are 4 views available in Finder windows. There's Icon View, which is self-explanatory, List View, which is where you open those little disclosure triangles next to folders to see inside them, Column View, which I believe is the correct view, where selecting a folder expands the items within it to the right, and then there's Gallery View, which used to be called Cover Flow, where you get a big icon view of the selected item and then small icons in a row below it. Whether you agree with me about the one true Finder view, or you're some kind of deviant who likes one of the other 3, it's good to know that you can use a keyboard shortcut, also known as a hotkey, to change views. The reason it's good to know is that Apple seems to have abandoned the idea of maintaining our preferences for a given view when rebooting or logging out or even opening a new folder. The 4 hotkeys are Command 1 through Command 4 to trigger icon, list, column, and gallery views in that order. Let's just simplify things. Just learn Command 3 because that's the one that triggers column view. You're welcome.
Wow. Column view junkie.
You're a deviant. I just noticed something. Are you following along with the blog post?
Yeah.
So the next title is Right Size Column Widths.
Mm-hmm.
Right above that are the Command 1 icon view, Command 2
List.
Is that straight across or is it a nice little list?
It's a nice list.
Okay. It just didn't render properly here. Okay, good. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, there's the fire.
It looks far away, but it's closer than we were comfortable with.
Steve, did you get any zoomed up, or Lindsay, did you get any zoomed up pictures? I did a 3x on it. It's not that much more information, but it was pretty scary.
I would say that's 2 miles away
Yeah.
at the
That's
most.
right. Yeah. Oh, use the zoom feature to see it better. Good job, Ed. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, bring it big here a little bit.
All right. Gonna keep going here. Here's another tip that has to do with these views. When you open a Finder window in column view, also known as the correct view, the columns are either too wide or too narrow for the list of items within. Wouldn't it be nice if the columns were sized just right? If you have your scroll bars set to automatically appear when you start to scroll, that's in System Preferences, General, Show Scroll Bars. We talked about that, I think, in the last set of tips. You'll see a plain vertical line between your columns. When you place your cursor over the line, simply double-click on the line, and the column to the left will right-size to just exactly fit the name of your files. If you've navigated down a few folders, you may have many columns that need to be right-sized. There's a tip for that, too. Hold down the magic Option key and then double-click on any one of the column separator lines, and they will all resize to be appropriate for their own content. Now, if you have your scroll bars set to always show, like I do, there's a slight difference in how and to right-size your columns. Instead of a vertical line, you'll have a vertical channel that's there to hold the scroll bar, whether or not it's visible at the time. Like you might have a short list, so it doesn't have a scroll bar. There's still this little channel. You can't double-click on that channel to set the column width. Instead, at the bottom of the channel, you'll see 2 vertical lines. Double-click or Option double-click those 2 tick marks to right-size all your columns. Now, sadly, Apple made a decision in Big Sur to make these changes not stick when you close your Finder window. The next time you open the exact same folder, the columns will be the wrong size. Now, there is one method of changing the column width that does stick. If you hold down the Option key and simply drag to change the column width without double-clicking, this changes all columns to be the same width. If you close the window after doing this maneuver, reopening any Finder window in column view will have all of the columns set to the width you just defined. I wish it was possible to right-size all columns and have it stick as a default, but I've not been able to find a way to do that. If anyone knows, I am all ears. Now, I'm sure having fun doing this Tiny Mac tip series. I've got more than I could fit in this week, so stay tuned. And of course, I'll get to redo at least half of them in a month or two when macOS Ventura comes out and changes system preferences into settings and we can't find anything. But at least there will be entirely new tips to teach.
So I think I've heard this somewhere before. Not being annoyed not having these options or preferences stick. Doesn't John Syracuse say something similar on ATP?
I don't know. Has he?
Something like this, I seem to recall. Maybe it was window sizing and placement.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
time for Bruce.
It's time for Bruce.
Bruce, use the data.
Beeswax wraps. Wait, these aren't the same ones you bought, are they?
No.
Oh, that's an important point.
Yeah, let's give Bruce a listen here. I think he introduces himself, right? Okay. So that one is here. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have we. Yeah, you've heard Bruce before. Okay, here we go. Ah! don't record over Bruce. You're supposed to hit play. Tips to teach.
Hi, this is Bruce.
Oh, let me cut that little click off. Now he's too soon. New tips to teach.
Hi, this is Bruce from.
Hang on. Zoom in. Where's that click? There it is. New tips to teach.
Hi, this is Bruce from East Tennessee with a quick review of Beeswax Wraps. First of all, the problem to be solved. I'm back to working in an office most days of the week. I bring my lunch to work, partly as a way to save money, partly as a way to save time, and mostly because I prefer what we cook to most things available from fast foods or restaurants. But I've also been working in climate change science for the past 15 years, and I'm trying to reduce my use of plastics, particularly single-use plastics. Those darn sandwich bags are, however, definitely quick and useful, and sometimes I don't have just the right size of the various reusable plastic or glass containers for something. While on a vacation recently, we visited the Kew Royal Botanic Gardens near London, and I saw something called a beeswax wrap. I think I've heard of these before, but it had passed by. So I do like buying things generally, and buying things from the Kew Gardens gift shop is a way to support one of my favorite places. So we bought a package which had 3 wraps, one each at 20 by 20 centimeters, 30 by 30 centimeters, and 40 by 40 centimeters, or roughly 8 inches square, 12 inches square, and 16 inches square. The wraps are cotton cloth impregnated with beeswax that's been softened with a bit of oil. I've used mine a few times now and I love them. They're lightweight and I've used them to wrap up sandwiches, make little baggies for some cut up veggies or for some fruit, or to wrap up some leftovers at home. The particular ones I got are from a company called the Beeswax Wrap Company, based out of the Cotswolds in England. So folks on that side of the Atlantic can take this as an enthusiastic recommendation of their product. Doing a bit of searching, there are a variety of these available through online retailers. I'll have to do a bit of digging to see which ones I might want to buy, get a few more. And I do see that there are some that sell these in longer sheets, like say 13 inches wide by 39 inches long. So I could cut that to make more of sizes I find useful. So I've stumbled into these and I'm sold on them as a way to have something that's much more multi-use and from renewable resources. If that's something that appeals to you, I encourage you to look into beeswax wraps and ping me on the Podfeet Slack if you find ones here in the US that you like. Thanks.
Good job, Bruce.
Here in the US that you like. Thanks.
I'm not hearing Allison. Is anyone else hearing her?
You mean
There we go.
because I muted myself?
There we go. Okay.
And look, that recording doesn't look very good either.
No, it doesn't. Okay. As long as you
Luckily,
notice
I
it.
was looking over there. None of my beeswax.
Here in the U.S. that you like. Thanks.
Well, this was great, Bruce. I love this idea. My daughter Lindsay has been a big influence on me in trying to figure out ways to make less waste. And I've tried a couple of different things that are working pretty well, but this beeswax wrap idea sounded great. So I went out to Amazon and I just picked a random page. Like there was a ton of different beeswax wraps, and I picked one and I got it. And it was horrible. I mean, like, I don't write 1-star reviews. I had to write a 1-star review. First of all, it didn't stick to the bowl. You're supposed to kind of heat it up with your hands and stick it down. Didn't stick to the bowl. However, it did put some sticky substance on my hand that I could not get off. Like 3 times I had to wash my hands with soap and water, and it was still a little bit sticky. I was considering turpentine. It was that bad. So I did write to Bruce and told him about that and asked him, so you don't get sticky on your hands when you use yours? And he said, no, definitely not. So I'm hoping that some other people will try some other different wraps, and maybe somebody can find us one that's in the U.S. that will work, that is not creepy like that. Anyway, I did return mine, but I'm really hoping somebody finds a good set in the United States so we can get some here too. But good on you for England. They get to have it first. All right. Okay. The stashers are those bags that we got some of those, right, Lindsay?
Lindsay,
Well,
your refrigerator looks so nice and organized and color coordinated.
I have Tesla in here, by the way.
She's being quiet, isn't she?
Well, no, she got up a minute ago and knocked over some of the
Do I need
metal
to?
pans. No, she's okay.
Okay.
Did you ever feed her today, by the way?
I think so.
You think so? Okay. All right.
Oh,
Good
ear flap.
All right. Let me do a chapter mark here. And let's see, it's this one. Copy link. I do not know why this works here when it doesn't work at home, and so much other stuff doesn't work here that does work at home. It's inexplicable. All right, here we go. Before we kick in our very special security bits, let me make a quick pledge break, as Wheels would call it. This show has no ads because of the generosity of listeners who choose to support the show financially. I don't have to pretend to like products and make you think I like them just to get money to make the show a success. If you'd like to help out like these wonderful folks, head on over to podfeed.com/Patreon to become a regular contributor, or if you'd prefer a one-time donation from time to time, go to podfeed.com/PayPal. I thank you in advance for your patronage. All right, here it goes. This is going to be huge. All right. Well, I hope the security bits music is here. Yes, it is here. And then I got to go find... Uh-oh, where is it? There it is. This should be in here. And that should go in here. Oh, no, we're going to move it down here. And I think it's going to start right up there. And you're going to want that separated. Let's hear how that sounds. Patronage.
Hi folks, I'm Bart Bushotz and welcome to another Security Bits.
What?
Unlike the last few, although you're hearing my voice first, this is not a solo show. And there is no Alison. So what's going on? Well, we promised a special guest a while ago. I have me, a special guest. Tom Merritt, welcome to Security Bits.
Hey, it's good to be here. I don't have to do an Allison imitation, do I? It's just
Oh, just say with a very high pitched note once and you're done.
with a very slight
Security bias? I don't know.
bias towards the truth.
Okay, there we go. We need that in this segment. Oh, goodness me, do we need that in this segment. There's a lot of bias out there, and very little of it seems to be in that direction.
Yeah. Well, we'll try anyway.
Indeed. Well, before we get stuck into the more details, there is some follow-up of some stuff we've been tracking over the longer time. It made big news around the entire world, really, when the Conti ransomware gang decided that the middle of a pandemic was a good time to flatten the Irish Health Service Executive, or HSE, who are basically our nation's healthcare system. That was really nice of them.
Yeah,
Well,
that was lovely.
Yeah, I am happy to say that the United States are also cranky at them because they didn't only hack our healthcare system, they hacked a lot of things. There is now a $10 million award being offered by the US government, so fingers crossed that shakes them loose.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, our friends over at the NSO group are having a bit of a shake-up. Apparently it's for a bright new future. Everyone else is like, I think they want to sell themselves. They have a change of CEO and are 100 fewer employees.
That's the kind of thing you do when you're polishing things up to be sold. I worked at Tech TV when they were getting ready to be sold, and the CEO left and he didn't get replaced, and they did layoffs, and lo and behold, sold to Comcast not too long after that.
Yeah, I think there's another shoe about to whack us on the head. I'd be very curious who buys the leftovers. There's a story that I've put a fire extinguisher icon next to because there is perhaps too much hair on firing going on in the world. So the headline I picked to link in the show notes because it's the least over the top is Apple's secure lockdown mode may reduce web browsing anonymity, which is A, factually true, and B, not completely setting their hair on fire. But there was a lot of, lockdown mode makes users, harms privacy and stuff. Basically, if you turn off all of the advanced features in your browser looks different. And a website can detect the fact that you appear to be browsing from the 80s. And if your IP address stays the same and there's only like 5 people on planet Earth with lockdown mode enabled, then that becomes browser fingerprinting. So, yes, there is a reduction in anonymity of a sort. You can be tracked from site to site, but they don't know who you are. And with all of that extra security, you still have all of that extra security. And
what does lockdown mode get us again? What's the idea there?
The idea is that you turn off advanced features so that your attack surface becomes a teeny tiny little postage stamp.
Okay, so basically it sounds to me like you're saying to keep folks from getting into my browser, I've made my browser slightly more fingerprintable.
That is it in a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off, and if lockdown mode becomes quite popular, then that problem goes away. Because every browser in lockdown mode will look identical to each other because they have no features.
Because there's no security through being obscure?
Unfortunately not, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, if only. Oh, if only. All of those, I was trying to remember... someone's first law. Basically, everyone thinks they can invent their own better security, but they can't, or something like that. And then finally,
all right, that's your little taster. You are the first to know that it was Tom Merritt. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, that one I'm going to need to listen to.
Yeah, me too. Maybe we should listen to it on our way home.
Yeah,
tomorrow, Steve.
Let's do that.
All right. Why is there dog hair on my keyboard?
Tesla.
Inexplicable. All right, let's hear what goes on with the end here.
You're not Alice. Anyway, remember, folks, until next time.
I'm glad to hear that. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Wait, we got to hear what he said here.
Gosh darn, and I'm going to know about it. I'm going to know about it quickly.
I'm glad to hear that. Thanks, man.
Okay, well, you stay secure.
Okay, and then we'll cut that off. Whoop. We'll do it like that. And then I'm going to come here and... Well, how fun was that? The best part of this was it was Tom's idea. He said, "Hey, next time you're not around, can I sit in and be the play the stooge with Bart?" And I think he did a great job. Well, that is going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at any time you want at allison@podfeed.com? And there's a really, really good chance that I'll answer you. I answer pretty much everybody. If you have a question or a suggestion, just send it on over. You can follow me on Twitter at Podfeed. And if you don't want to join in the fun of the conversation, you can join our Slack community. And everything good starts with podfeed.com. So that would be at podfeed.com/Slack. And in there, you can talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCast castaways. You can hear talk to Bart in there. Jill from the North Woods is in there. Bruce, also known as Use the Data, is in there. And so it's a great time in there. And I really hope you guys join the Slack. More and more people coming in. It's chatty, but not too chatty. It's kind of that sweet spot. Anyway, back to everything good, starting with podfeed.com. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon or the one-time donations at podfeed.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, where would you go? You'd head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Who knows? Maybe you could have heard your name read during roll call by none other than my grandson Forbes this week. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. All right. Lindsay, I need, let's see, did Kurt manage to stay? Yeah, Kurt is still here. We need, he needs his name read by Forbes. It's just not the same. It's got to be done. And did we miss anybody else? Oh, I hear somebody thundering
I hear
down
footsteps.
the hallway.
Fast ones.
All right. All right. Do you want the headphones on, or do you want to just yell his name? We missed Kurt during roll call. When you read all the names, I missed Kurt. So do you want to just yell his name, or you want to listen? Talk to Pippier first.
Say his name.
Say his name. Okay. Yell. It's PDX Kurt.
So just say PDX Kurt.
Yeah.
PDX Kurt.
Well
Yeah,
done.
very good.
Well done.
Good job. That's all we needed. Thank you. I love that he came running down. Running towards her away. Oh no, wait! Forbes, come back! Send him back. Ed missed it roll call too.
We're never going to get out of here.
No, you're never gonna get out of here. We got 4 minutes. Send him back, Lindsay.
Poor
Rose,
guy.
you did get to hear him say Rose, right? Here he comes. Okay. All right, one last one. Say Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed.
Yes.
Very good.
All right.
This is important stuff we got going on here. And you know what? Al is going to kill himself that he missed this. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Okay, I think I am all set, and I am ready to push publish on the show. So
Should we do a chapter count?
Oh, we should do a chapter count. So I'm going to need to mess this up to do the chapter count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Counting the home battery tech, I actually made that into a chapter.
Oh, okay. 5 plus 1. Yep. That makes
Alrighty.
sense.
We're good, so let's get rid of, yeah.
Wait.
Okay, cool.
Hold on.
What?
Jill's was not, correct?
It's not a blog post, but it's a chapter mark.
It is. Okay. So that's the 6th.
Why don't you, so I have home battery talk,
Jill,
Tiny Tips.
Tiny Tips, Beeswax, support the show, security bits.
Yeah.
All right. We're good.
Goody. Forbes says, how many more times is she going to need me?
The guy's planning ahead.
I could give Lindsay voice in the chat so she could just put them on from there. I think
Oh,
that's
boy.
funny. All righty. He's an important little man. Yes, he is. He's very important to us. Okie dokie. I think we are all set, and class is dismissed.
And don't forget the SLS launch tomorrow morning at 5:30 Pacific, 5:33, and so 8:33 Eastern, and it's going to be the first launch of the space launch system for the Artemis 1 mission to the moon, uncrewed, to the moon, orbiting the moon a few times and back. I think it's. So, John, are they actually orbiting the moon? I know it's a weird halo orbit, but is it multiple times or just a swing around and coming back? Do you recall, or maybe who else would know
Maybe
that?
you want to keep chatting because I think the class wants to go.
Okay, class can go.
We're ready to go. All right.
We'll sign out.
All right. Bye, Rose. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye, Forbes. Bye, Sienna.
Bye bye.